Do you want a bunch of free fruits and BLOX fruits and possibly even a few dragons? It doesn't even have to stop at fruits. You can get free fruit notifiers and other game passes from this. Today I'm going to share with you my top 10 tips for trading. That's a tongue twister. Anyway, my first tip is to study the values every day. I'd suggest that you use a website like bloxfruitsvalues.com because it's really accurate and it shows you the demand and everything's just really easy to find. It has a simple layout and the font's really nice. It just looks so good. Now, the reason you want to be able to study values is so that you can make all of your trades much quicker. Imagine you put a leopard in the trade and the other side puts in like 2 does. And just so you know, that is a W trade. But what if you didn't know that because you didn't study the values? Now you have to go open the value list and see if it's worth it. In the time that you're looking at the value list, they might decline the trade and leave. It's also really helpful because then you'll know when to decline a trade if someone gives you a really low offer. I do this every day and I now know the value of every single fruit in the game off the top of my head, so I never fail any trades. I started today with only about a Shadow, a Venom, and a Buddha, and I got all the way up to this with only 5 trades. You just gotta make sure you're only taking the good trades, which is my second tip. If you put in a Shadow and somebody else puts in a Buddha, don't waste your time on that. If you have a bunch of other fruits like a Dragon and Kitsune, it's not worth it to take 1 million W's because that's just gonna waste one of your 5 trades for the day. You won't even get that much of a profit off of it, so don't waste your time on those. The next tip I have for you guys is to always use 5 trades a day. I know this is self-explanatory and it will come easily once you want to trade a lot, but after you get kind of bored of trading, this might be a lot harder to accomplish. Trust me, in the long run, 5 trades a day is absolutely worth it as long as you're getting W's on every single one of them. My 4th tip is to always use trading websites. Now this is going to be a long one because I'm going to have to explain to you guys a lot of things that you can do with them. The one I use is called Tradery and I have the app for it so I can get notifications. That's one of the big things. Always make sure you have notifications on so you don't waste your time trying to look for other offers, and especially if someone offers you something on the website that's much better than what you're giving someone in the game. Make sure you always make a ton of listings at a time, but try and spread them out. One really big thing you can do is list the same fruit multiple times. Make sure these listings are spread out though, otherwise everyone's just going to offer the exact same thing. Also, if you get an account on Tradery, you can do a lot more, so just make sure you do that. And you can get positive reviews, which makes other people know that you're a good trader. As for me, I think currently I have 6 5-star reviews, which makes people think that I'm a really good trader when they see me, so they'll always take the offers that I give them. I have another piece of advice for when you're using these trading websites. Whenever someone offers something, even if you think it's already a W by a lot, message them and ask them if they can add. Try and use smaller words when you're saying it though, such as, can you add a little bit or can you add something small? Then they won't feel overwhelmed and feel obligated to give you something really big, which could influence the chances of them doing the final trade with you. Next up is one of the most important tips I can give anyone because if you don't follow this, you could lose all of your value. Never pay the trading value for a fruit that is fluctuating. Right now, fruits like Gas and West and East Dragon are fluctuating, but that's because they were recently updated. Gas is fluctuating a ton and is currently worth 100 million belly because it's super new. But trust me on this one, if the tag says fluctuating and the value is at 100 million after only 4 days, you don't want to trade it. Although if you roll a Gas, however, that's a completely different story, or if you roll a fruit that's fluctuating in the first place. If you do roll a fruit that's fluctuating, instantly trade it away. You do not want that thing. For those of you who don't know, fluctuating basically means that the value is changing a ton and could go down drastically or up drastically at literally any moment. I've told everyone I know not to trade for Gas because I'm 90% sure that in about a month or so, Gas is going to be worth less than a dough. And I still see people making the same mistakes where they pay like 3 leopards for it. So please, I cannot stress this enough. Do not trade for fluctuating fruits because you're just going to lose all your money. My next tip is that you should always pay the trading value for something that is overpaid. Fruits like Dough and Buddha are worth 25 million and 8 million respectively, but you should always try and get them for those values. Trust me, you'll find some desperate people. Since these fruits are overpaid, you can easily resell them for like 1.5 times, or maybe even if you find the right person, 2 times Buddha's value. Not for dough though, you'll never find anyone that stupid, hopefully. Anyways, this next tip kind of ties in with that, but always make sure that you're underpaying for every fruit you get. If you trade for better fruits, like even a portal or something like that, even though those are overpaid, as long as you get them for under their value, you'll be able to trade it back for something much better. For example, if you trade, I don't know, a shadow for a control, that's a 1 million W, and you'll find some people that will give you at least a spirit for a control. And then you can go and use that spirit to buy 2 shadows, and there you go, you've already doubled your fruits in only 3 trades. I think everyone instinctively already knows that they should underpay for fruits that aren't overpaid, but if you're underpaying for fruits that are overpaid, nobody's gonna accept that. Make sure you almost never pay the exact trading value for a fruit that is stable. Unless it's a fruit that has some kind of rework going on with it, like dragon, always make sure you underpay. Now, my next tip is that if you roll a new fruit, always trade it away right away. I basically already said this earlier with gas, but whenever you roll a new fruit, that means that like if it's less than 3 weeks old, that probably means it's going to go down in value quite a bit soon. If you get it on the first day that it's out, you are one of the luckiest people on earth. Trade it away instantly to get at least 4 times your value when it's going to be going down in about a month. Now this next tip is really important, so you guys got to make sure you use this one. Unless you only have one really good fruit and all your other fruits are absolute trash, like a kitsune and then your second best fruit is a Buddha, make sure that you're always combining your fruits into bigger ones. Here's an example. If you have 2 spirits and 2 mammoths, you should trade that for a leopard. You should not trade that for like, I don't know, 40 loves. Because even though the 40 loves are a W, there's no way you're going to be able to trade all of those in the long run. And that's just saying you somehow have 40 fruit storage. Now this last tip is one of the most important ones, so make sure you use this. Never ever trade everything you have for a game pass. If you didn't know, when you trade for a game pass, it automatically gets used, and if you already have the game pass, you can't trade for it. Even with things like fruit storage and stat refunds, they get instantly used, so don't trade for them if you don't need them. Make sure that you have at least 25 million value left after you trade for a game pass like Fruit Notifier or Dark Blade. With the way that BLOX Fruits trading works, it's hard to get big W's of like 5 million when you only have a love. W's are more rare in small percentages, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. If you try and trade a Buddha for a spirit, most people aren't going to let you take that offer. But if you try and trade 3 spirits and a Buddha for a leopard, that's the same difference in value, but some people will take it because it's not that big of a percentage of a L. The percentage matters much more than how much value you're actually gaining. Don't take a trade unless you're at least getting a 5% or 10% W. And those are all the tips I have for today, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.